Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss the antihypertensive agents diuretics by Professor Sabashik. So first we'll see the mechanism of action of diuretics. So the antihypertensive effects of diuretic is mild. The blood pressure is fall by 15 to 20 mm of Hg over the week of 2 to 4 weeks. Diuretic act as an antihypertensive as follow. So basically diuretic enhances the excretion of sodium and water, and whenever the sodium and water excretion is enhances, it will decrease the plasma level, and when the plasma level is decreases, it will decrease in cardiac output and thereby it will decrease the blood pressure. So this is how the diuretics act. So as we know, we have the different types of diuretics which are used for the treatment of hypertension. So let's see each diuretic one by one in detail. So first one is the thiazide diuretic. So this group of drugs blocks sodium and chloride symporter in early distal convoluted tubule. So here you can see this is the distal convoluted tubule. So in order to reabsorb sodium and chloride, the sodium and chloride symporter is present. This sodium and chloride symporter is very much important because it will reabsorb the sodium and chloride into the bloodstream. Okay, so our drug, which is nothing but the thiazide, what it will do, it will block the sodium and chloride symporter, and when it will block the sodium and chloride symporter, it will lead to the excretion of sodium, and whenever there is a excretion of sodium, it will also lead to the excretion of water, and when the water is excreted from the body, what happens, it will reduce the blood volume and thereby it will reduce the blood pressure. So the pharmacokinetics of thiazide diuretic. Thiazide are well absorbed orally and are rapidly acting. Duration varies from 6 to 48 hours. They are excreted by kidney. Now we'll see loop diuretic. So it blocks the sodium potassium chloride symporter in thick ascending limb of loop of Henle. So this is the ascending limb of loop of Henle. So here sodium, potassium 2-chloride symporter is present. Through this symporter, this sodium, chloride and potassium, it is reabsorbed into the bloodstream. So what happens here? Our drug will block this sodium, potassium 2-chloride symporter. And ultimately what it will do, it will inhibit the sodium and chloride reabsorption and lead to the sodium excretion, and when the sodium is excreted, the water is also excreted along with the sodium, and thereby it will reduce the blood volume and ultimately reduce the blood pressure. So pharmacokinetics, so loop diuretic are rapidly absorbed, eliminated by kidney. Now next is the potassium sparing diuretic. So here our drug like spironolactone antagonizes the action of aldosterone. So this aldosterone is required for the sodium and water reabsorption. So if the aldosterone is blocked, the sodium will not reabsorb, and when the sodium is not reabsorbed, its excretion occur, and whenever there is a excretion of sodium, the excretion of water also occur, and thereby it will reduce the blood volume and ultimately the blood pressure. Then we have the different drugs like amiloride triamterene. So this amiloride triamterene directly inhibit the sodium channel. Okay, so this sodium channel is directly inhibited by these two drugs, and ultimately what it will do, it will lead to the excretion of the you can say the excretion of sodium, and whenever there is excretion of sodium, it will excrete the water also, and ultimately the blood volume is reduced and it will lead to the reduce in blood pressure. So pharmacokinetics, spironolactone has slower onset of action. Spironolactone is completely absorbed orally. So this is all about the diuretics as an antihypertensive agent. Thank you.